The Disability Services Commissioner invited Peter Oakes to speak about his research on early indicators of concern. This became the impetus for our pilot project, Building Safe and Respectful Cultures. It identifies 6 key areas that people could notice, reflect upon, talk to someone about and act upon that could make a difference in the lives of people with disability.
What we noticed is that they came into blocks or themes, if you like. One theme was the basic care and environment. People just noticed that things weren't happening and they should happen, that the place was a bit dirty or things weren't quite right. One of the themes is about managers, and a lot of changes of manager. The manager was hard to get in touch with. The manager was someone that seemed distant and not to take responsibility for what was going on. Staff practice and staff knowledge. Where staff didn't really understand what their job was or what was important about their job. And so they were kind of lost when thinking maybe if an individual was distressed. The staff had no idea how to listen to what was going on for that person and what they were supposed to do about it. There were things about how the service was organised. So maybe there were a group of people living together that didn't get on well with each other. Or that the care plans that had been developed simply weren't being followed through. When a service is becoming difficult or of concern, there are changes in the behaviour of the people that receive that service. Some people get maybe a bit withdrawn or lose their skills, they're kind of very small at first. But eventually they become behaviours of concern and people show real distress. And the final one was about isolation. So sometimes that was geographic isolation, so a place was cut off like the big old institutions of the past. But other times it was about the way the service isolated itself. So people didn't respond to communication, people didn't encourage or foster relationships with families. People just kind of generally, just slowly but surely cut that service off from outside influence and outside scrutiny. So what you're looking for is a profile of some of these issues across time. That build up to get you concerned.
So, why do you think catching things early is so important?
I guess it came up in the research quite a lot for people that catching things early was really important. It gave workers a real opportunity to step in and find the little things that were really bothering people before they became big problems. It worked really well when people had a chance to follow the quiet people especially, and when staff could follow up people who were quiet, they could find out what the problem was and stop something that was bothering somebody before it became a really big issue for them. Those sorts of opportunities, when people can follow them up and nip things in the bud, were really important.
Well, there's a story we came across where a guy thought something of his had been stolen from his room by another visitor, and I think he did raise it with a staff member, but nothing came of it, and so that he just shrugged his shoulders and said "c'est la vie," but that could lead to bigger issues and things if it wasn't resolved or nipped in the bud, as you said.
People with disability spoke to us about some reasons why they found it difficult to speak up. It's because they felt nervous or scared about the topic. They didn't want to speak up when workers seemed busy or feel like they were an inconvenience in some way. They feel like they're sort of rushed to be listened to because they're not asked about the problem in particular. They could tell when workers weren't in a good mood. It was very obvious to the participants. And they were aware when workers and family members didn't think that people's ideas were important.
So everybody was feeling very focused on their own issues, and it was really hard for them to see things from the point of view of the other person. It didn't make anybody a bad person. Everybody was coming from a place where they were trying to do the best they could in the circumstances that they were in. But everybody was really stressed and finding it really hard to see things from other people's point of view.